I want to talk about the three P's: peace, profit, and purpose. If you are lucky in this life, you get all three. But from my perspective, purpose is the hardest one to really find because we're so focused on our careers and making money, the most amount of money we can make so we can support this lifestyle that we want, so we can support children, so we can support ourselves, so we can pay for rent, so we can have money, right? That's the point of, living, right? Is having money to be able to pay for these things in life. However, however, when it comes to greed, greed will make you so far away from your purpose and your peace that profit is the only thing that you even have in this life. Purpose will lead you to peace, will lead you to profit. If it is so genuine in yourself and who you are, if you have a purpose in life, that is everything. To me, purpose is everything. I love to live my life in such an authenticity and being in my genuine self and not lying to myself that I have to literally approach myself. I have to acknowledge all the good, all the bad, all the rights and wrongs in my life because I'm so genuine. I can't take myself further away from my own purpose by lying to myself. I have to constantly remind myself why I'm doing things, who I am, what I'm doing it for, my why. Your why has everything to do with your purpose in life. So if you're going to work and you don't know why besides paying your bills, I'm sorry, I have cat hair all over my freaking face right now and it's tickling me. But if you're going to work and you don't know why, and it's just paying bills, that's where that purpose is lying. Like the purpose is underneath the carpet. You can't see it because you're not uncovering it yourself. You're not trying to figure it out. You're just getting by, right? And that is the kind of state that we're living in this world. When you are on your phone and you are seeing other people live these lives, these lavish, luxurious lives, and looking like they have a purpose, looking like they're peaceful, looking like they're making money through it too, right? It can make you feel like you're not doing enough and that your purpose has to be greater than theirs. Okay? Purpose has everything to do with you, yourself, what you've learned in this life, what you haven't learned in this life, your traumas, your nostalgia, everything that traces back to you in your childhood, in being youthful, growing into an adult. What first inspired you? That's where your purpose lies. And you have to dig deep, you have to really figure it out, and you have to be genuine with yourself to find this purpose. But once you find it, you can walk around this world like you own it, like you know what you're doing, instead of walking around feeling desperate, feeling like you are not enough, you're just another percentage in the books. And that's not a good way to live. That's not a way to see yourself. Because at the end of the day, I don't really like that quote, but when we all die, we all are just percentages. We are nothing but a figment of history, a figment of whatever we've put into this world. So do something that gives you purpose, okay? It doesn't have to give the whole world purpose, but like I said, when we die, we die. There's nothing really, I like the quote that says, it's not about living forever. It's about creating something that does. And that gives me purpose. Okay, that is my version of reminding myself of my purpose, because whenever I create, whenever I make a video and I'm explaining something from my own head and what I think of it, it can be all over the place. But if it is speaking to you and you resonate with that, that's my purpose. That is what fills my cup every day and what fills my purpose. Now, when it comes to peace, I'm going all in right now. When it comes to peace Peace is different for everyone, right? It can be being alone, having a girlfriend, having a family. You know, you can have peace going to the gym, peace drinking a cup of coffee. Like, peace can be anything for you. But if you don't have that purpose, there's no point in finding that peace, because that peace is basically what's balancing the good and bad in your life. Because in order for you to continue with your purpose, there needs to be a peaceful element to how you view yourself, a peaceful way to remind yourself of what your purpose is. Because when you find your purpose, if anyone knows about their own purpose, if you are following your purpose in life, you know it's a constant freaking battle. It is a constant reminder to yourself to have a purpose, to keep having a purpose and not shy away from it, not detour, not root away, because that's the thing. If you think I don't read your emails, I do. And a lot of you have talked about career and money and greed and basically only wanting profit in this world. The thing about purpose is you can get caught up in this purpose and start shifting toward profit. Start shifting toward, how can I make more money off this purpose? You know, this purpose is actually going to make me a millionaire, you know, and you start getting away from that initial inspiration, that initial reason why you're doing it in the first place. You know, you can always make money off these things, but if your internal world is going against it, there's something up. And you know what I'm talking about. Your internal world is your intuition, it's your decision making, it's your voice in your head. And if the voice in your head is saying, yo, retrace, recap, what are you doing? You don't need to do all this. You know, more money, more problems. And this world loves both, right? The world loves to make more money, which and thus makes more problems. So instead of being in that dilemma, why are we not being okay with that happy medium? You know, there's a difference between really needing money, really needing peace, really needing something, you know, having a deficit, being broke, being homeless, being down on your last, right? There's a difference between a happy medium and a deficit. And if you're down here, you know. But when we get to the happy medium, we're always greedy. We're greedy. Why are we so greedy? Like, this is why I want to talk about growth, okay? Because growth does not come from just money. It doesn't just come from gaining objects, gaining, like, consuming things. No, growth is in the mindset. And I wrote something down in my journal because it says, what does growth mean to me beyond external achievements? Okay, because growth is not just things that you can buy and place in your house and be like, yeah, I grew, I did that, you know, like, oh, no. To me, it is to be able to accept yourself through your growth and still recognize who you are truly. So, kind of like growing pains. Have you ever experienced growing pains where you're like, wow, I am actually shedding my skin of who I used to be, and that's so depressing. You know, the fact that I'm shedding my old childhood skin or my immature skin, and I'll never be this person again. Like, I am now a new profound version of myself, and it's very invigorating. It's very intense, but growth is meant to be kind of painful. You know, anything that kind of grows through anything, like shedding its skin, like a lizard, or, you know, even a butterfly having like this, like, oh my God, what is it called? I'm thinking of a carcass. Like, I'm not a carcass, but whatever they're sitting in, right? I can't think of it on top of my head because I have so many things in my head right now. They shed their skin and it's painful and it's not the most, beautiful formation. It's not the most beautiful process, but it's growth. And at the end, they're different. They are in a new version of themselves. And then I also said, growth is understanding all of your pros and cons and still believing in yourself. So growth is like looking at yourself from another point of view and being like, wow, I accept you. I accept you for who you are, no matter what you are, no matter what you do. I accept you. And that's a version of growth because you're able to take yourself outside your body and look at yourself, accept yourself. Acceptance is a grateful act. It is something that it's a choice to do, to accept something. And then the last thing I said is growth is learning that the state of your mind is the biggest accomplishment. Growth. The state of your mind is the biggest accomplishment. So, meaning, if you have peace, purpose, and profit, you're winning. You're lucky. You are a lucky person. You are the luckiest person alive. You should be embracing that. And that is the mindset that you should be following every day. Having all three and balancing it and having a happy medium in your life. We love to talk about work-life balance and, the 80-20 principle and all these things. I think that being genuine with yourself can lead you down the right path. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be, oh, you have to spend this much time with yourself, this much time with your family, this much time at work. Like, it's so overwhelming. And the fact that we are changing as we know it. We are changing literally right now, like turning on the axis of the earth. Everyone is changing. These old processes, these old techniques, they're not working. They're not working. Like, people are having an attention deficit. People are having a hard time really focusing on themselves or focusing in general. So having this 80-20 that tells them to focus on this, that, or the other, it's very overwhelming. So I feel like being genuine, right? Being authentic, learning who you are as a person and why you do things. Your reason why is your purpose, okay? Your reason why for anything is your purpose. It's your intention. It is what will stir up the growth in your life and make you think about your decisions right now and in the future. So, yeah, everyone is focused on money and their career. And that's just because the world is changing. The world is changing as we know it. And instead of balancing our lives, we are hyper focused on something. We are hyper focusing on money. Which, I mean, the state of the world, like, so many things have happened to where we feel like we need more money. We need more money to feel stable, to feel like we can survive, to feel like we can live, to just feel accomplished, right? Like, all of these things are all inside this profit pillar. But what about everything else? What about your peace? Do you really find peace in striving for money all the time? Do you ever find peace being like just on the patio in the rain, or find peace walking on the beach? You know what I mean? Like, you gotta find where your authenticity really lies, and your purpose will be found there. As long as you keep digging. If you keep digging in yourself, you'll strike gold, because gold is inside of you. This is getting very like, I'm talking. Like, I'm talking today. I'm drinking some talking juice. But I really resonate with this. I resonate with purpose, peace, and profit because I feel like I'm, first of all, embracing my purpose. I'm embracing it, and I'm finding my peace through embracing it. And hopefully there's a profit on the other end. And that is where I want to balance my life. That's where I want to feel good about myself in my life and have a purpose. So I hope this clears anything up for you that you might be questioning or just wanting a refresh. You know, some people just want a different technique. Um, you know, there's so many different self-help books out there. I actually just bought a book online and it's called The 5 a.m. Club, or yeah, The 5 a.m. Club. It's about waking up in the mornings and like using your mornings to your advantage and really just, it's about waking up early. So I'm really excited for that book. And then I also bought Women Who Run with the Wolves, which is kind of like my little fiction book that I want to read at night or something when I don't want to read something about improving yourself. So, yeah, I'll be reading that and I can talk about it if you want, but I'm just getting really into the self-help and improving myself and just getting back into reading in general because I really love reading. I really love putting myself in a new world and kind of just being this new persona after I read a book. Like if you've ever read a book and right after you read it, you're like in the world, or you're basically just saying everything that the page is saying. I don't know, but I love reading. I love books. I definitely bought the book. I don't do audibles. I mean, sometimes I go to the library, but I never return the book, so there's that. Um, but yeah, highly recommend reading a book. Read a book. I know, it sounds simple. It sounds, anyone can read a book. Sit down and read a book. Yeah. Read it while it's raining. Like right now, it's like pouring rain. It's actually really nice right now because it's just relaxing. It's giving me time to think. And yeah, I'm going to go read a book after this and invigorate myself with purpose and peace, because it is peaceful to read a book to me. But that's all I really wanted to say today. I hope this helps you, motivates you, inspires you. Whatever resonates with you, I got you. Purpose, peace, profit. I mean, look it up. Look it up. I mean, it's something I found and it's actually helped me because everything seems overwhelming to me at times. So I just thought I'd put it out there. I don't know. But thank you. Oh, and today I feel so gross. Like I'm actually, my face is reacting to something in my skincare. So like it's very red, puffs, and just looking. Eh. And also, like, if this does not explain the phases of being a woman, I don't know what will. But yesterday I was like so energetic. I was feeling myself. I was feeling great. And then I woke up today, slick back, hoodie. I don't care. Okay. Like that's how fast my phases change. I mean, yesterday was the last day of my 3rd week. This is the first day of my 4th week. If you know, you know. I don't know. But that's it. Thank you, and I'll see you later.